Hello everyone. So today we'll see the interesting and simple topic called transporting plant. So as we know, the plant cell is responsible for food production in the food chain. So it's important for the plant to maintain its salt and water concentration in it. So for that purpose, the plant cell basically undergo many physiological processes, so that the different processes we will see now. So stay tuned till the end. So what makes the transport that much important in the plant cell? As transport is important as it provides all nutrients and water it needs for the survival of the plant cell from its root to the tip of the leaves. As we know, the main production of water and other salts and minerals takes place in the root. It plants absorbs the all nutrients and water from its root, and it take part to the all parts of the like leaves, stem, etc. So there are so many various processes through which plant undergo to make this transport of water and nutrient possible in whole plant cell system. So the various processes include the diffusion, then it is a facilitated diffusion, then there is a passive symport and antiport and uniport system, and there is osmosis, then there is apoplast pathway and symplast pathway, then it is plasmolysis which occur, and then it is imbibition, and at the last we have guttation. So now let's discuss the our first process, which is diffusion. So in diffusion, it is a passive transport in which the gas molecules are moved from the higher concentration to the lower concentration without any energy molecules. As the define suggests us that it is a passive transport, so in this there are no energy molecules are used like ATP, NADP. No such molecules are required for this diffusion. And diffusion of mainly gas molecules which take place, gas molecules and sometimes liquid, but diffusion of solid don't take place. Now the other process we have the facility diffusion. It is same as the diffusion, but it is somewhat varies from diffusion, normal diffusion. The facility diffusion, some for specific thing it differs. So like the diffusion, it is also a passive transport in which the molecules are moved, or we can say facilitated by proteins. But in this, no ATP molecules are used. Instead of that, the proteins are specific proteins are used to transport molecules which are need to be transported. So porine proteins, especially the aquaporins, which help in the transport of water molecules, these are present in plants, which help in the transport of water molecules throughout the cell. So now other process we have passive, symport, antiport, and uniport. So first symport. Symports. In this the proteins allow two molecule movement in same direction. Then other is uniport. So in uniport, the proteins in uniport process, the proteins allow one molecule movement in one direction. Like if there is one protein present, it allow only one molecules inside or outside, it depends. So now the process is antiport. As the name suggests, antiport means opposite directions. So antiport, in this the protein allow the two molecule movement in different directions. See, there is a diagram of this antiport, then it is of uniport, and then it is of symport. Here the two molecules in same direction, here one molecule in one direction, and here two molecules again but in different direction. So now the next process is osmosis. So it is a movement of water across a semi-permeable membrane. It occurs spontaneously in response to driving forces. Here it is osmosis. Here is the best specific diagram which this can be useful. See, here it is a higher concentration, here is the lower concentration. So in this also, the higher concentration to lower concentration, the movement of molecules takes place. But here there is a semi-permeable membrane. So there is a semi-permeable membrane, and through this the movement take place, and it is called osmosis. So now we have the next process, it is plasmolysis. As the name suggests, plasmo and lysis. So in this, it occurs when the water ooze out of the shell shrinks. As we see, the if we remove the water from a balloon, it shrinks. So like that only the cell, if we remove the water from the cell, then cell also shrinks. It is due to the osmotic pressure which decreases. Due to this, the cell shrinks. It occur in the hypertonic condition. See, hypertonic means if we keep the cell in the higher concentration of sugar concentration, then this process takes place. It is reversible process. In this, the turgor pressure plays important role. It is the pressure exerted by protoplasm against the cell wall, and it balances the outer pressure, external pressure which is exerted on the cell. So now next is apoplast pathway. So in this it is a transport of water and nutrients via the membrane through adjacent cell. Here we can see like this only the plant cells are placed according adjacent to each other. So in this apoplast pathway the transport of nutrients take place via adjacent cell membrane. Cell membrane to cell membrane it transport takes place through this layer. In this no cytoplasm. In this nutrient don't enter the cell, but it's from outside the cell it get transport. So now other is a simplast pathway. It is a transport of water and nutrients through cytoplasm of adjacent cell. So like this apoplast pathway it is same type but it's different somewhat. It takes more time than the apoplast pathway because in this nutrients directly enter through the cell and then goes out throughout the cell. So in this through cytoplasm it enters and then again it comes out and then undergoes other cells cytoplasm and it continues. By this the transport take place is called simplest pathway. So now the other type of transport is osmosis. So it is the movement of water across a semi-permeable membrane. This transport requires a semi-permeable membrane. It occurs spontaneously in response to driving forces. This is the semi-permeable membrane. Here is higher concentration, here is lower concentration. In this also the molecules travel from higher concentration to lower concentration but through semi-permeable membrane. So now the other type of transport we have is imbibition. It is a special type of diffusion. When the water is absorbed by the solid colloids, it is same as the diffusion since water movement is along a concentration gradient. If we see imbibition is somewhat of same of diffusion. In this if we see the seeds and other such materials as we know have no water content, hence they absorb water easily. If we keep the seed near to the water it will absorb the water due to this process only called imbibition. So now the last type of transport is guttation. It is due to the root pressure through which the water comes out through the hydrothots present in the edges of the leaves. It is mostly seen in early mornings in plants. In leaves there are hydrothots. In the edges of leaves the hydrothots are present and through that the water comes out and this process is guttation. In guttation water transport takes place through hydrothots.